Have you ever wondered why some people seem to age with grace, serenity, and wisdom, while others struggle with the pressures and expectations of getting older? What if I told you that the secret to living a fulfilling, peaceful life in your later years lies not in what you share, but in what you choose to keep private? Today, I'm going to reveal 9 things that, if you're between 55 and 75 years old, you should never tell anyone. And I promise, this advice could completely change the way you approach your own life. Why should you watch this video until the end? Because every piece of wisdom I'm about to share will help you protect your inner peace, avoid unnecessary stress, and live with more dignity and respect. These are not just random tips. They are powerful insights based on timeless philosophies that have helped people find tranquility in the face of life's challenges. From financial secrets to family matters, your health, and even your personal beliefs, I'll explain how keeping certain aspects of your life private can empower you to live a life full of serenity, wisdom, and strength. So, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a deeper understanding of how to protect yourself from external judgments, preserve your emotional well-being, and embrace the fullness of life as you continue to age with grace. Don't miss out on the transformative power of silence and discretion. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. The elder, with a serene and knowing smile, motioned for the young man to sit beside him under the comforting shade of a sprawling tree. The branches above seemed to whisper a soft, gentle breeze, as if nature itself were quietly offering its wisdom. The elder took a moment, his gaze drifting to the horizon, his eyes reflecting a world of untold stories. For a few moments, he seemed lost in those distant memories, as though time had folded upon itself and he was once again a young man, full of questions, just like the one sitting beside him. Slowly, he exhaled, as if releasing a burden of years, and began to speak. His voice soft but filled with the kind of depth that only experience can bring. When I was your age, I too felt an overwhelming urge to share everything. Every joy, every sorrow, every little detail of my life. I thought that by sharing it all, I would build connections, find understanding, and perhaps even get the comfort I craved. I thought that the more I spoke, the more I would feel seen, heard, and validated. He paused for a moment, his eyes distant as if reliving a time long past, then continued. But as the years went by, I began to see the truth. The more I spoke, the more exposed I became, like a fragile leaf caught in a storm. My words, no matter how well-meaning, fell into the ears of people who didn't always have my best interests at heart. I began to realize that some people are quick to take advantage of your openness, twist your words, or use your vulnerabilities against you. And as that happened, I started to feel the peace within me begin to slip away, like water running through cupped hands. It took time, but I learned an important lesson. Some things are simply too sacred and too personal to be shared. And sometimes, the greatest protection you can offer yourself is silence. The young man, whose curiosity was piqued by the elder's words, leaned in, hanging on every syllable. "And what did you do then?" he asked, his voice filled with both admiration and confusion. The elder turned toward him, a glimmer of understanding in his eyes. "I chose to become more mindful of what I shared and with whom. I realized that not every thought, not every feeling, should be laid bare for the world to see. Some things must be kept hidden, not out of shame, but out of a deep respect for your own inner peace and personal sovereignty. I learned to speak only when necessary and to choose my words with care, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Over time, I began to understand that discretion is a form of self-preservation, an act of shielding my heart from the harshness of the world. And that peace you see in me today, that peace comes from learning to protect my soul by speaking less, but meaning more." The young man's eyes widened, the weight of the elder's words sinking deep into his heart. Slowly, he nodded, his mind racing as he began to digest the profound truth that was being shared with him. So, it's not about keeping silent for the sake of silence, he mused aloud. It's about knowing when to speak and when to protect what matters most. It's about guarding the quiet parts of yourself, those treasures that only you should hold. The elder's lips curled into a soft, almost imperceptible smile. Yes, exactly. Wisdom is not in saying everything. It's in knowing what to keep to yourself. Silence is not an absence, my friend. It's a presence. It is a shield that, over time, will protect your peace and bring you closer to the truth of who you are. When you stop allowing the noise of the world to drown out your inner voice, you begin to hear yourself more clearly. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The elder rose to his feet, his movements slow but deliberate, as though every step was measured by a lifetime of knowing. The young man watched him, still deep in thought, the elder's words echoing in his mind. "Master," he called out, his voice hesitant but earnest, "I understand that not everything should be said, but how do I know what to keep private? How do I find that balance between sharing and protecting myself?" The elder paused, looking back at him with a gaze that was both wise and kind, as though he had seen this very question 1,000 times before in the eyes of others. "Ah, now that is a question of true wisdom," he said, his voice almost a whisper, as if the answer required a certain reverence. As we grow older, we begin to see that some things we once thought were important to share aren't. We realize that there is power in silence, and that some thoughts and emotions are better left unsaid. They aren't bad or shameful, no. But there is strength in keeping certain things just for yourself. When you share everything, when you expose every aspect of your life, you give away pieces of yourself, little by little, until you're left feeling hollow. You lose your sense of autonomy. The elder paused once more, letting the wind sweep around them in a moment of quiet reflection. "There are things, my young friend, that no one needs to know. Not because they are wrong, but because by keeping them private, you maintain your sense of self. True wisdom lies in knowing when to speak and, just as importantly, when to remain silent. Silence, too, is a powerful response. It is a way of telling the world that some things are sacred, that your inner world is not for everyone to enter." The young man's eyes widened, his heart stirring with an unexpected revelation. For the first time, he understood that this wasn't just about keeping secrets, it was about guarding his soul, protecting the sanctity of his being from the chaos that surrounded him. "So, the things I keep to myself," he whispered, almost to himself, "they make me stronger. They become the foundation of my peace, my power." The elder smiled knowingly, his eyes reflecting a lifetime of hard-earned wisdom. "Yes," he said, his voice soft but certain. "And one day, when you are my age, you will look back and understand this lesson even more deeply. You will realize that in protecting what is most sacred to you, you are not closing yourself off from the world. You are simply giving yourself the gift of peace." With those final words, the elder turned and began to walk away, his footsteps slow but steady, as though the path ahead was as clear to him as the lessons he had just imparted. The young man, still standing there under the shade of the tree, felt something deep within him shift. The elder's words had planted a seed in his soul, a seed that, he knew, would grow and bloom as he continued his journey through life. And though he still had questions, the young man felt a profound sense of gratitude. He now understood that the most valuable thing he could give to himself was the gift of silence, the power of discretion, and the peace that comes from within. 1. Money. Money is a deeply personal topic, one that should remain largely off-limits for sharing, especially as we grow older. It's something that should be kept close to your chest, for your peace of mind and protection. As we age, having financial stability is a comforting and vital source of tranquility. However, it can also become a dangerous area of vulnerability if we're not careful. The truth is, talking about your financial situation, whether it's your income, savings, or assets, can open the door to unwanted consequences. And believe me, even the most well-intentioned conversations can spiral into situations where others might start seeing you not as a person, but as a resource to be exploited. Just think about it. When you openly share details about your finances, even casually, you invite others to form unrealistic expectations about you. Friends, family, or even acquaintances might begin to look at you with a different lens. One that's more about what they can gain from you than about who you are as an individual. And sometimes, this change in perception happens without anyone even realizing it. It's an invisible shift where people start seeing you as a walking piggy bank, rather than the person you truly are. This is a concept that resonates deeply with the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to value what truly matters. As the Stoics like Seneca remind us, wealth is merely a tool, a means to an end, not the essence of who we are. It's easy to get caught up in materialism, but true value lies not in accumulating possessions, but in how we manage them and, more importantly, in how we manage our lives. There's incredible peace in guarding the privacy of your financial situation because it not only protects you from others' unrealistic demands and expectations, but also shields your inner tranquility. When you keep your finances private, you preserve your dignity. You ensure that people do not come to you with hidden agendas or false expectations. Keeping quiet about money means you avoid unnecessary judgments and, more importantly, the risk of having your intentions misinterpreted. It's not about being secretive for the sake of secrecy. It's about protecting the sanctity of your peace and ensuring that your relationships are grounded in who you truly are, not in what you can provide. Protect your financial peace, and you'll protect your mental and emotional well-being. 2. Age. Age. The one topic that, although completely natural, often feels like a sensitive, almost forbidden conversation. We all know that time marches on, without mercy or hesitation. It's inevitable, after all. But I truly believe that there's something deeply disheartening about fixating on it, something that has the power to shape how we view ourselves and how others view us. When we talk too much about our age, it can create this subtle, yet powerful shift in how people perceive us. Have you ever noticed it? You mention your age, and suddenly, it's as if the world around you starts to treat you differently. Less capable, less vibrant, less able to do the things you once did. They might not even realize they're doing it, but it happens. People often unconsciously box you in, labeling you by the number of years you've lived. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? But let's be honest with ourselves. This labeling can go much deeper than just how others treat us. There's an insidious danger in it. When we focus too much on our age, we can begin to internalize those labels. We may start believing the narrative that our age limits us, that we are somehow less than we were before, that we can't keep up, and that we're fragile. The truth is, this is an illusion that society loves to reinforce, but one that holds no true power over us unless we let it. What if we stopped giving so much power to the number of years behind us and started focusing on what we can control? Our attitudes, our actions, our vitality. Because, let's face it, your age doesn't define you. Not one bit. It's your spirit, your energy, and the richness of the life you lead that speaks volumes. The experience you've gained, the wisdom you've earned, and the way you carry yourself with purpose, those are the things that matter. When we allow ourselves to be defined by the passage of time, we forget that it's just that, time. It's a fleeting moment in the grand scheme of things, something that we can never hold back, something that we can't control. But we do have control over how we use that time, and how we choose to show up each day, no matter our age. You are not defined by the years you've lived, but by what you do with them. Keep pushing forward. Keep being curious. Keep being active. Keep being full of purpose. Life doesn't stop at a certain age. It only stops when we choose to stop. So, don't let the world, or even your mind, box you in. Embrace each new day with enthusiasm, with a heart full of gratitude, and a mind open to the limitless possibilities that life still has to offer. The Stoics wisely remind us that we should not worry about things beyond our control. And time, well, it's the perfect example of something we cannot control. What we can control, however, is how we choose to live. Time is inevitable, yes, but it is not a limitation. It's a gift, one we get to decide how to spend. 3. Family secrets. Every family has a unique story, woven with both joyful memories and moments that shape who we are. Some of these moments are filled with laughter, warmth, and love, beautiful experiences that truly deserve to be shared. They bring us closer, connecting generations, and reminding us of the joy of family. But the truth is, not every chapter of a family's history is meant to be told to the world. Behind the laughter, there are the hidden struggles, the unresolved arguments, the deep hurts, the mistakes made by loved ones, and the painful misunderstandings that time never quite heals. These parts of our story may be filled with raw emotion, but they also hold the potential for deep personal growth, provided they remain within the family circle. There's nothing wrong with this. I believe it's a beautiful and protective act to keep some things private. After all, not everything needs to be exposed to the world, especially when it comes to the delicate fabric of family intimacy. Discussing a family's struggles, no matter how innocent it may seem, can have far-reaching consequences. It can sometimes cause irreparable rifts, stir up old wounds, or allow outsiders to form judgments they simply don't have the right to make. As someone who values both the wisdom of the Stoics and the sanctity of the family, I can't help but feel that the Stoic principle of self-control, particularly over our emotions and impulses, should guide our actions in these moments. It's a powerful lesson to practice silence when needed, to control what we share, and to recognize that some things are just too precious, too sacred, to be exposed. Silence, in this context, is not a sign of guilt or avoidance, but rather a sign of respect. Respect for the ones we love, respect for the sanctity of our shared history, and perhaps most importantly, respect for ourselves. Guarding family secrets is not about hiding the truth. It's about protecting our loved ones from unnecessary harm. In a world where everyone feels entitled to an opinion, the act of keeping some things private is an act of love. It is a silent promise to safeguard the peace and unity of the family. There is so much power in maintaining discretion. By keeping certain topics within the family, we are ensuring that these issues are resolved in a safe and supportive environment, away from the judgmental eyes of the world. What happens within a family should remain within that sacred circle. Once we let outsiders in, we invite unnecessary complications and judgments that only serve to erode the bonds we've worked so hard to create. Family unity is fragile and deserves to be protected with all the love and care we can muster. Sometimes, silence isn't just golden, it's vital for preserving what we hold dear. 4. Health. As we grow older, our health inevitably becomes one of the most significant concerns in our lives. It's no longer just something we take for granted. It's something that requires attention and careful consideration every single day. Our routine is filled with medical checkups, medications, and various treatments. These tasks, once minor or even invisible, now become central to our existence. But here's the thing. Just because health becomes such an all-encompassing part of our lives, doesn't mean we should feel the need to overshare it with everyone around us. It's natural to want to talk about how we feel, to express the pain or discomfort we're enduring, or to discuss a new treatment we've started. But here's where it gets tricky. Health is such a deeply personal matter that it can easily shape how others perceive us, sometimes in ways we don't intend. When we talk too openly about our health struggles, it can inadvertently cast us in the light of fragility or helplessness. People might begin to view us as weaker or more dependent than we truly are, and that can be a difficult narrative to undo. I believe it's important to maintain a sense of dignity and strength, even when we are dealing with something as intimate as our health. Think about it. How many times have you mentioned an ache or a concern, only to be met with a flood of unsolicited advice and opinions from well-meaning but often intrusive people? Suddenly, it feels like everyone is an expert on your body, telling you what you should do or what you've been doing wrong. It's overwhelming. The constant advice can drain your energy and make you question your judgment. It can also add more stress than relief, and that, in itself, becomes counterproductive. What we truly need in moments like these is a calm space to process, not a chorus of advice. Control over our health is more than just managing the physical aspects. It's about maintaining our autonomy. When we share too much about our medical issues, we risk handing over a piece of our control to others. We allow them to form opinions and judgments about our lives, sometimes without fully understanding our unique circumstances. Stoicism teaches us that we should focus on what we can control, and in this case, we control how we choose to manage our health and how much we reveal about it to others. By setting boundaries and making conscious choices about what we share, we preserve our sense of self and retain control over our narrative. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. As we age, we must remember that our health, while important, doesn't have to define us or diminish our worth. We can manage our health with strength, grace, and discretion, choosing when and with whom we share the details of our journey. Our value is so much more than the sum of our medical issues, and protecting that dignity is crucial to living a full, empowered life. 5. Charitable donations. There's something profoundly beautiful and deeply fulfilling about helping others. It is one of the most selfless and meaningful actions we can take in our lives. The simple act of giving, whether it's donating money, giving your time, or putting in your effort, has the power to fill our hearts with warmth. In those moments when you give without expecting anything in return, you experience a deep sense of peace and contentment. It's as though the world momentarily pauses, and in that space, you realize that true happiness comes from selflessly lifting others. But here's where the issue begins to unfold. Is it really necessary for everyone to know what you're doing? It's human nature to crave recognition, to want the world to see our generosity. It feels good to hear praise for our kind deeds, and sometimes we may even find ourselves sharing our good deeds with others, sometimes excessively, hoping for acknowledgement. But therein lies the challenge. Can you truly give without seeking praise or recognition? Think about it. Have you ever encountered someone who just can't stop talking about their charitable acts? They bring up their donations, their volunteer work, and their efforts to help others as if it's their mission to ensure the world sees just how generous they are. While it's perfectly natural to want recognition, there's something much more powerful and humbling when we can give without needing to broadcast it. The truth is, when we make our good deeds a spectacle, the focus shifts from the cause to ourselves. Suddenly, charity is no longer about lifting others, it's about lifting our ego. The true beauty of charity is found in the silence, in the moments when we give simply for the sake of giving, without expecting anything in return. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, famously said, "The best way to help is without seeking glory or rewards." His words remind us that charity, when performed purely, is about virtue for the sake of virtue, not for the fleeting applause of others. The Stoics believed in the power of quiet, humble generosity, one that seeks no external validation. When you give in silence, without the need for acknowledgement, the true beneficiary of your kindness is the person you're helping, not your own need for validation. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you gave or helped without uttering a word about it to anyone? Those are the moments that truly matter. Those are the moments that leave a lasting impact, not just on the life of the person you helped, but on your own heart as well. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you gave or who you helped. It's about the intention behind your actions. It's about the humility with which you gave, knowing that the greatest impact comes not from what others see, but from what you achieved quietly, without fanfare or expectation. 6. Personal beliefs. Now, let's delve into an incredibly personal topic, our core beliefs. Throughout the journey of life, we accumulate thoughts, opinions, and convictions that are shaped by our experiences, the challenges we've faced, and the lessons we've learned along the way. These beliefs are not just random ideas. They are an integral part of who we are. They define our identity and guide us through the complex world we navigate. They are deeply personal and sacred even, and the idea of sharing them with others should never be taken lightly. However, I've come to realize, through my own experiences, that constantly discussing or, even worse, imposing our beliefs on others often does more harm than good. It creates walls where there could be bridges. There's something so profoundly human about the need to share our convictions. We want others to understand us, to see the world the way we do, and to accept our values as truths. But here's where the danger lies. When we talk too much about what we believe, whether it's our religion, our political stance, or our views on life, we run the risk of inviting conflict. Not everyone will think the way we do, and truthfully, that's more than okay. It's what makes the world so rich and diverse. The trouble begins when we feel the need to make others agree with us, to validate our beliefs, or, perhaps worse, when we expect others to adopt our worldview as their own. I've learned that in those moments, we set ourselves up for unnecessary tension. Sometimes, we might even end up hurting others or causing them to question or ridicule our deeply held convictions in ways that we never intended. As I've grown older, I've realized that wisdom often comes with silence. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in knowing when not to speak. There are moments in life when keeping your beliefs to yourself isn't about hiding who you are, it's about preserving your peace. We no longer need to prove anything to anyone. Our beliefs are valuable precisely because they are ours. They need no external validation to be meaningful. Over the years, I've learned to cherish my beliefs without the need to shout them from the rooftops. They're mine, and that is more than enough. I believe that respecting others' differences while holding to our values is one of the most powerful ways to foster understanding and harmony in a world full of division. So, let your beliefs live quietly within you, and let them be your guide, without the need for constant approval or argument. 7. Insults. It's time to let go of those past grievances, the ones that still sting even though they're long gone. Life, with all its trials and lessons, has a way of showing us that the things that once hurt us no longer matter. Imagine carrying around a heavy bag full of stones that only weigh you down and slow your progress. Those insults you received years ago, the cruel words that someone once hurled at you, words from someone who no longer even occupies a space in your life. What's the point of continuing to let them have a hold on you? Think about it. Every time you dredge up an old insult, you're allowing it to creep into your present moment. You're letting that old pain, which should have faded away like dust in the wind, continue to affect your life today. It's almost as if you've chosen to carry the burden of that hurt, while the rest of the world moves forward, unburdened. Here's the painful irony. Most of the time, the person who caused you that pain doesn't even remember what they said. They probably moved on long ago, leaving you alone to endlessly replay the hurt in your mind. The tragedy of this is that you're still clinging to that moment, while life carries on around you. It's as if you're keeping yourself stuck in a past that no longer has a place in your future. And isn't that just heartbreaking? To let something so small, something that no longer exists, hold so much power over you? This is where the wisdom of the Stoics becomes so incredibly powerful. They taught us that true strength comes from releasing what we can't control, and the past, as much as it hurts to admit it, is something beyond our grasp. What happened, happened. What was said, was said. The only thing we can control is how we react to it, and how long we allow it to haunt us. The real challenge, the real courage, lies in freeing yourself from the invisible chains you continue to drag behind you. Letting go doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean you erase the pain as if it never existed. Letting go is about choosing not to let those insults have power over you anymore. It's about saying, this no longer defines me, this no longer has any hold on my peace. By releasing those old wounds, those grudges you've been nursing for far too long, you free yourself from unnecessary weight. It's the emotional equivalent of shedding the stones from that heavy bag you've been carrying, allowing you to move forward with a newfound lightness and clarity. It's an act of profound self-love and unshakable courage. And in that moment, when you let go, you reclaim your power. Your power to heal, to thrive, and to move through life unburdened. Letting go isn't just a decision. It's a beautiful gift you give to yourself, a reclaiming of your life and your happiness. It's time to stop letting the past steal any more of your present joy. 8. Honor. Protect your reputation without boasting. There's something truly profound about the idea of honor, an idea that many often confuse with the need to boast. At some point in our lives, we all crave recognition, the validation that our efforts have not gone unnoticed. As we navigate through life, there's an undeniable desire for our actions to matter, for the things we've accomplished to carry weight. But as we age, we come to a powerful realization: our worth is not defined by what others know about us. It's not the applause or the recognition that validates our existence. Yes, protecting your reputation is undeniably important. It's the foundation of how we navigate the world and the way others perceive us. But here's where the magic happens: protecting it with humility. There is an art to this, one that demands deep reflection. We must resist the temptation to constantly tell the world our stories, to boast about the many things we've accomplished. When you feel that impulse to remind others of your successes, stop for a moment and ask yourself, is this truly necessary? It's a simple but powerful question that can change everything. Dignity, true dignity, doesn't require applause or grand gestures. The Stoics taught us something invaluable. Their wisdom resonates across time. True honor is not found in the words we speak, but in the life we live. Our actions, the quiet, consistent ways we show up in the world, tell the story of who we truly are. It's not about shouting from the rooftops or seeking praise. The life you lead, your integrity, and your consistency, all of that speaks far louder than any words ever could. Your character is the legacy you build, and that legacy doesn't need to be flaunted for the world to see. In today's world, where everything is public and every achievement seems to be under a spotlight, the pressure to be seen, to be celebrated, can feel overwhelming. We live in a time where social media constantly pulls us to share, boast, to highlight our every move. But there's a profound freedom in understanding that your worth is not dependent on the fleeting approval of others. It's liberating to realize that true contentment comes not from what others think of you, but from the quiet assurance that you know your worth. Those who matter, those who truly know you, don't need a reminder. They already see you for who you are, and that is enough. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. We must let go of the need for constant validation. True greatness is found in the silence, in the spaces where our actions alone speak volumes. It's in the moments where we don't seek the spotlight, but instead choose to live in a way that requires no recognition. And when we do this, we discover a deep, enduring peace. This, I believe, is the essence of honor, the ability to stand firm in who you are without the need to broadcast it to the world. The most powerful life is the one lived with quiet dignity, knowing that it's not the applause but the quiet reflection of a life well lived that truly matters. 9. Sexuality. Sexuality is one of the most deeply personal aspects of human experience, and as we grow older, it's important to recognize that intimacy is a sacred and private domain. At this stage in life, your sexual life is yours and yours alone, shared only with a partner if you have one. No one else needs to know, nor should they. In a world that too often seeks to label or diminish the sexual desires of older adults, it's vital to remember that this part of life doesn't fade with age, it only evolves. If you choose to embrace it, your intimacy is just as valid, powerful, and meaningful as it ever was. Sadly, society frequently falls into the trap of stigmatizing or even infantilizing the sexuality of older people, treating it as though it's something to be ignored or swept under the rug. But the reality is that, for those who wish to continue sharing this part of their lives, intimacy is a deeply enriching and beautiful experience. The truth is, that privacy is the cornerstone of preserving this intimacy. It's not about hiding out of embarrassment or shame, it's about safeguarding your dignity. What you choose to share should always remain a matter of personal choice, never forced upon you by external pressures. Think about it for a moment. Why should we feel compelled to explain or justify the private aspects of our lives? The beauty of holding such things close to your heart is that it protects you from unnecessary judgment and intrusion. What do you truly gain by exposing the most intimate parts of yourself to others? There's an incredible strength in keeping what's yours protected, in creating a safe space where your most precious moments remain untouched by the opinions of others. Keeping these aspects private isn't a weakness. It's a reflection of your power to live on your terms. You deserve to live gracefully, free from the constant need to explain or defend yourself against unnecessary curiosity. Your sexuality is yours alone to define, and its boundaries are only for you to establish. It's a treasure that you should hold dear, without the weight of societal judgment or unwanted scrutiny. In the end, the most profound lesson here is that your sexual life, your intimacy, is a part of your identity that no one else can claim. It's something that belongs entirely to you, a precious piece of your personal story that deserves the utmost respect and privacy. It's yours to protect and nurture, without needing to justify its existence to anyone. Keep it safe, keep it sacred, and above all, keep it yours. As we reflect on the importance of privacy, dignity, and the deep value of maintaining control over the most personal aspects of our lives, I hope this discussion has inspired you to think more about how you navigate your intimate world. What have you learned so far about the sacredness of your privacy, and how can you apply this wisdom in your own life? I'd love to hear from you. Please share one thing you've learned and plan to put into practice in the comments below this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful content. Thank you for joining us today.